Kentucky adds another piece to the 2025-26 roster as Braydon Hawthorne picks the Wildcats. Kind of a shocker. For a while, we didn't think we were in this recruitment. And then, boom, the Cats are back, and they end up landing this great player. And Carson and I are going to try and convince y'all why he might be more than just a depth piece. That is the conversation on today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, publisher over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined, as always, by Carson Nash. Carson, you leave for Scotland tomorrow. How are we feeling about that? All of the beautiful ladies in Scotland better watch out because Carson Nash is about to head that direction.
Yeah, no, I'm super pumped. You know, outside of the flights that I have to take to get there, I don't like to fly. But other than that, I'm very, very excited to go explore Scotland. And you have some family there too, so I'll go get to see some Stefaniak bloodline.
Yeah. It's my grandma's side. It's the Skinners, baby. The Skinners. But yeah, it's a great place. I've always wanted to go. I've still never been up there. And yeah, I actually have a lot of family in Scotland, so I'll have to make the move up there. Maybe I'll try and fix my slice before I do that. But Carson, I mean, we talked about the Braydon Hawthorne. We didn't think he was coming to Kentucky for a while. And then, the day or two before the announcement, we start to see a little bit of folks saying, hey, maybe he's coming to Kentucky. His recruitment's quiet. West Virginia might be offering more, and they're offering more playing time and all that. And then we had the conversation, when was the last time a player decommitted and went back? And, all these conversations. And of course, Hawthorne commits to Kentucky. So, Carson, I mean, there's a lot of conversations to be had about him as a player, his role. What is he? What do you think Braydon Hawthorne is to this year's team?
First off, I think he's a huge addition because anytime you can add a top 35 player as your 13th, 14th man, I mean, good Lord. But he's going to be an absolute stud. And you know what I was thinking of the other day when I was watching this tape? And a lot of UK fans are going to be like, no way. But you know who I see in him?
Who?
I see a little BJ Boston in Braydon Hawthorne, just by the way he's long and is fluid. I know BJ didn't have the best.
In high school or in college?
In high school. In high school. He reminds me a lot of him because he's the same height. He has a lot of the same traits. So I really do like this kid. Huntington Prep, big UK ties there, especially one of my favorite players of all time, P-Pat. But I really do like this addition, and it was a shock because I know we had a conversation about 2 days prior, and I called you, and I was like, there's some smoke to Braydon Hawthorne, and you're like, 0% chance he comes here. Yeah. And then come to find out, we were sitting there listening to it, and he picked UK, which I thought he was going to pick UK and then throw the hat, but he stuck with UK, and apparently he had been a Wildcat for life.
Yeah, and I talked to you on the phone about this, and everyone called Andrew a bona fide hater and this stuff. I didn't see him coming here. I thought this kid was too good to come here and ride pine his freshman year. But then I, come to find out how much he wants to be here, and it makes total sense. He's not some random kid. He grew up a Kentucky fan. He talked about this, and I think that's a difference maker. It makes total sense why he wants to come here now, and maybe could he gotten a little bit more money elsewhere, more playing time elsewhere? Sure. But he wants to come to Kentucky and play at Kentucky and make a name for himself and fight for minutes. I mean, he wants to compete. And I respect that a lot.
In the NIL era, I respect the hell out of that. He took less money and he wants to come earn his minutes. That shows me he's a leader right then and there. I want that guy on our team because that means the team is bigger than him. I love it.
Yeah. And it might not be this year. It might not be this year, but Braydon Hawthorne will be a good player for Kentucky at some point. I think now the main talking point for a player like him has to be a Duthiero, because of what he did. Obviously played a few minutes here and there his freshman year, but then became a great player for us, and obviously he was darn good last year at Arkansas. And that's kind of, I think, the new what a player wants to be that's coming in as a depth piece, as a a piece that we're trying to help develop, a development piece. That's what you want to be. And I think that Braydon Hawthorne has that type of upside. And I mean, did you see Pope's quote about him today? Let me pull up the exact quote on him. I mean, I love it when I told y'all, Coach Pope does not often. He loves to talk about how beautiful players are and how all the different
Beautiful.
stuff like that.
That's always his word of choice. Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna let you tell your. Do you want to talk about what he said
Yeah.
on KSR?
So on KSR today, the best, in my opinion, the best segment, which was a wonderful interview. You go listen to it if you haven't. But they called him out for saying beautiful too much, and he's like, "Yeah, I get that all the time at home too from Leanne. She tells me I say it way too much." So I was cracking up. It's hard not to love Coach Pope.
It is. But I mean, at his press conference, because even y'all you and Cam texted, and they were like, man, Coach Pope said beautiful about 50 times during that. And I'm sitting there and I was thinking the same thing. And I'm like, goodness gracious, he said beautiful a lot. And it was funny, but it was cool to see him. Like, I like that. You know what I mean? They poked a little loving fun at him. And he was talking. I just like a coach like that, not a ton of ego. He likes to make fun of himself and have he's funny like that. But this was the quote on Hawthorne. Coach Pope says, Braydon Hawthorne probably has the steepest trajectory of anybody in the class of 2025. He's a great learner, 4.0 student, and highly skilled. His ceiling is incredible, and he really wants to be here at Kentucky. I love the fact that he wants to come and compete and that he's dying to get better every single day, and he's quite beautiful. I'm just kidding. He didn't say that, but everything else was true. I mean, I like that quote. I love upside. I think it's one of my favorite. You know what I mean? I love a player with upside.
Well, you know what I wanted to talk about is how he wasn't even ranked a year ago today. Like he wasn't even on the radar, and now he's a top 35 kid. Late bloomers are fantastic. Remember, AD grew from like 6'2" to 6'10" in a year and became the best player in the country immediately. So I love a late bloomer. That means just because it took them longer to bloom doesn't mean they ain't going to be awesome.
Exactly, and that that could be the case for Hawthorne. I mean, it might just take him a few years to become a star a little bit. I think he needs to put on a few pounds of muscle. He's got to get, in there a little bit. He's a little scrawny, but he's going to do all that. And I'm telling you, with that will come better and better play. Now, here's the serious question, Carson. Do you see him getting serious playing time this season? And if the answer is no, what would it take for him to see serious playing time?
I don't think he'll get serious playing time, no. Now, is there an opportunity for him to get serious playing time? Yes, because he is 6'8" and a top 35 player and can dribble a little bit and shoot a little bit. So you never really know what's going to happen. That's why I love this pick because you're taking a chance on a kid who's clearly shown that he's developing at a faster rate. So anything can happen with Hawthorne, in my opinion, and I wouldn't really be surprised. Now, and it goes back to me and you talking, right? You say iron sharpens iron. Hawthorne's going to have to go against Mohamed Diabate in practice every single day. That's going to make him a lot better. So I absolutely love this pickup. I love this get, and it helps us tremendously. Now, I don't think his minutes will come a lot this year, but next year, watch out.
I agree. And, why not go get the kid in development? Yeah, this was the conversation you and I had. I was talking about this, Hawthorne could have gone to West Virginia, average 11 points a game as a true freshman, hit the portal, and then come to Kentucky. I like the fact that he can develop in our system and get to know our system. And, as a freshman, and sit back and learn from some of these elite players and continue to get better and better and better. It's just going to make it easier on him in the future, and it'll make him better next season when we do anticipate him having a larger role for this team.
No, I completely agree. And that was 100% my argument to you when you told me there was 0% chance he was coming here.
I said, now I'm all for, I thought he was going to take the money. We didn't know his big ties to Kentucky.
Yeah, I told Andrew this is Kentucky.
Okay. That's not the point. The point. My point is, I think the new day and age of college basketball, it just, this is Kentucky, and that's always going to be very important. And we're going to get the best recruits because of it. But a kid like him, where he could go get a few $100,000 more elsewhere, I was surprised he didn't take that. I'm not saying this isn't Kentucky for sure. You know what I mean? It's more of my thought was more of an overall kind of thought on what college athletics are now, if people just want the money. I mean, they're really, as much as I hate to say it, I think the NIL era, and I love NIL and the fact that these people are getting money and they're able to buy things and help other families.
I pump.
Exactly.
I shop.
And buy nice cars and do fun stuff and, enjoy. It's great for all them. I'm just saying, I think it takes away a little bit from the respect and love a player has for their school. I think they care more about the NIL collective than they do their school. Now, that's not the case from last year's Kentucky.
Braydon Hawthorne.
Exactly. Precisely. And that's what I agree with you. But and what's interesting, Pope's not having teams like that. And he's been very candid about that. His teams are going to care about Kentucky because,
well, that's what he said today. He said he's recruiting kids that want to be here. Mm-hmm. He's like, we will look at a kid, and if his agenda is a little different than ours, or if he's not all the way invested, we'll pass on a kid because he knows what it means to be here. So he's looking for guys that also know the same thing.
Yeah. So I guess my point in all this is I was surprised, not knowing a ton about Braydon Hawthorne because of how quiet this was, that he is this type of player that wants to be here and cares about this and doesn't care about a few more $100,000. That's cool to see. He
didn't flash his recruitment. Like he wasn't a Caleb Wilson. Like he seems like a good down to earth kid. And I'm going to cheer the hardest for that kid.
Yeah, he didn't go on the View and commit or anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. You got these, you want to do a little intermission Zakai Ziegler joke? I tried to think, I had one and I forgot it. But I'm really
Zakai suing the NCAA because Zakai thinks he should get a fifth year just because he should get a fifth year. I mean, have you read that statement that his lawyer sent in? I mean, it is literally, it has no argument about him needing an extra year because of a red shirt or anything like that. The sole argument is the fact that he'll get paid $2 to $4 million next year, and that's it. He's played 138 games. Like, he doesn't need another game to show why he's 5'5" and won't make the NBA.
But Carson, he's only played 22 minutes, 29 minutes, 32 minutes, and 35 minutes in his 4 seasons. He has, you know what I mean? He should have gotten a red shirt year for that year. He played 35 years averaging, or 35 games playing 22 minutes a game. He should have gotten a red shirt for that. It's bullcrap. I'm with him.
That's like the Louisville argument too.
What about the one where he hurt his knee? But he played 30 games that year and then proceeded to play 36 the next year, but he hurt his knee.
It's stupid. I think that is absolutely
ridiculous.
I'll tell you,
I'm not trying to be the old man yelling at clouds again, but this is what I just got done talking about. This kid knows, I'll tell you this though. I'll tell you this, Carson, and a lot of people are going to hate this take. This is my dad and I were talking about this. I get it from the standpoint that this is his opportunity to make a crap ton of money. You know what I mean? The kid can go to Estonia and make a few, and make good money playing basketball.
Yeah, but it's not going to be what he'd make if he went back.
And I'm not saying stop making jokes. No, keep making fun of him. I'm all for it. I'm just saying, I get it. I get
what he needs to do is join the advertising team with Hunter Dickinson, right?
Yeah.
The LinkedIn boys.
I respect that too.
Oh, that was awesome. That made my day. I am a Hunter Dickinson fan now because that's what you got to do. If people are hating on you, you got to make fun of yourself, right?
I like that. I agree. I liked the Hunter Dickinson making fun of himself play. It's always a good play to make fun of yourself.
Always.
People like that. You know what I mean? People are a fan of that. It's a good route to go. But the Ziegler thing, that's going to happen more in college sports. And this is why I don't believe NIL will ever be regulated correctly. I don't think, because I don't know how you do it. You know what I mean? Like, are you going to give your walk-on $200,000 as well as your starting point guard? Like, it's going to be tough to regulate things. Do you do it based on minutes? Do you do it based on score? Like, it's going to be tough to regulate NIL. And I think until it's done, which I don't think it'll happen, stuff like this will continue to happen. Players are going to care less about school spirit and stuff like that and care more about money. And there's pros and cons like there is to anything in life. But I still stand by the NCAA's got to find a way to make this a well-oiled machine. And it's just not that right now.
So I completely agree with you. I think this case is different too. Some cases players actually have an argument. I don't think this one.
No, he doesn't. His argument is, I'd like $4 million more. I would too. Sure. Yeah. If the lacrosse team or some like random sport wanted to give me, I guess you wouldn't get $4 million for playing lacrosse, but you get what I'm saying. If you could pick a random sport, I'll take the NIL money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll be sponsored Arby's or something. Come on, let's go. I'm all in. Let's do it.
Now we can switch to talk about an actual NBA player and first Kentucky MVP Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. How about the dude? Came off the bench for Quad A Green in his time at Kentucky.
Man, I'm
super stoked for Shea, and I hate how they're just calling him foul baiter, like all that stuff. Like he earned it. He averaged 33 points a game
and shot 8 free throws. So that means 8 of his 33 points came at the free throw line. It was like 8.4, and that was free throw attempts. Like,
so I think it's ridiculous. And he knocked out Jokic, the other one in the running for MVP. He earned this MVP, and it was super cool to see the first Kentucky MVP, which is kind of crazy considering how many good players have been in the league.
He also, I'm a huge Jokic guy. I love Nikola Jokic. I think he's fun to watch. I like the passing and the rebounding and the scoring, and the fact that I almost in a weird way like that he doesn't even care. He would rather be playing Xbox or riding the horse.
That's the best part.
Like,
he shouted out Red Mile. Have you seen that clip?
I have. You told me about it. I haven't seen it. Which, I mean, hey, shout out Red Mile. If you want a sponsor that would fit well into this podcast, Red Mile, give us a ring. You know, I'm a big Jokic guy, and I mean, obviously I was rooting for SGA to win, but man, that game where he just said, "You're my little punk," to Jokic in that game 7 and put up 35, and I'm pretty sure 25 of those were second half points in that game.
Yeah, that was nuts.
That was it. I was like, I mean, he was going to win regardless of the outcome of that game, but I think he said, I deserve it. Watch. You know what I mean? I think he said that in that game. So congrats to SGA. Somebody that loves Kentucky and the Kentucky fans. He loved him while he was here. I believe he still loves Kentucky now. I know he does. And I'm happy for him. He's a great person. He's a pros pro. He's a Kentucky man, he's a great human being, and I'm happy for him, and I'm wishing them the best of luck. But the problem is there's so many Kentucky players I want to see win in the championship. In the Final Four here in the conference finals, it's hard to decide who I want to win. Do I want Cat to win? Do we want Julius Randle to win?
One of the top 5 underrated Kentucky Wildcats. I'm gonna put that out there. Julius Randle is so underappreciated when we talk about players that have been here. Talk about the turnaround from coming from New York to the Timberwolves. I am rooting for Julius Randle.
I am too. I'm rooting for Cat as well.
Yeah.
I'm not rooting against anybody. I guess Isaiah Jackson's technically on the Pacers, but I think
he's injured. So I don't even think he's
playing. I don't think he plays a ton even when he's healthy. So that game was crazy last night. He almost blew it.
The Reggie Miller to tie. That's crazy.
Well, but he thought he'd won it.
I know that's true.
But that shot going in, that you might, if the Pacers definitely have the worst odds to win it all right now. After seeing that shot go in, I might throw 50 at him because heck, it's clearly destined.
No one's beating the Thunder.
I agree. I'm just telling you. These Pacers, man, that shot, how does that shot go in? I mean, that thing went 8 feet up in the air and came back in nothing. But I've never seen anything. That's not even a shooter's touch. That was just lucky.
And not only, he was at the free throw line and had 2 seconds left and ran all the way back.
He turned around. It was like a Tom and Jerry. He turned around and ran back to the 3-point line and just jacked one up. And it was like, what the hell? Yeah, that was nuts. But yeah, congrats to SGA. Seriously, really cool for him. Cool, good for Kentucky. That's the third, which I find this to be crazy. You know that that was only the third SEC MVP. I can't. Yeah.
Who were the other two?
Chuck and Shaq and
okay.
Chuck, Shaq, and SGA. It's the only third one ever. I find it's almost to me it's crazy how there was only 2 former SEC baseball players in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And I find that crazy. How good this conference is. Obviously, the NFL is different, but there's probably a lot of NFL. There's a lot there.
Yeah.
So yeah, congrats to SGA. Any other thoughts, Carson, on Hawthorne or the role he might have this year?
That's all I got on Hawthorne. I thought we should mention that Jalen Lowe finally withdrew from the NBA process, and so he'll be point guard 1 coming next year. I'm super excited for him. It should be a fun time with him at the helm.
Did you see he was listed at 6 foot without shoes? Mm-hmm. That was interesting. I don't care. That's one of those big gaps. And they have him at 6'3" everywhere, which in shoes, that means he's probably 6'1".
Yeah, I'd be interesting to see what Lamont was listed at. or any of that
Don't
stuff.
didn't we have him listed at 6'2" on our roster?
Yeah, but you know how that
I
is.
bet you Lamont is 6'1" with shoes on. If you list him at 6'2", that's fine. I think 1 inch is fine. 2 inches, that's when you're lying a little too much. I think the 6'3", if I'd list low as 6'2" on the roster pnext year. Like it matters. It doesn't put any points up on the board, but you know what I mean.
And it's stupid they measure without shoes because they play in shoes.
I agree. It's a good point. It's always been a good it is silly. But yeah, Hawthorne, I think, is a great addition. He's a Pope guy. He wants to be here. He loves Kentucky. He wants to fight for a role here. I respect him. Is it going to turn into a role this year? I'm not so sure. Is he going to be great in the future? 100% bought into that. So let us know in the YouTube comments, what kind of role do you see Hawthorne fighting for, working his way into a role this year? Do you see him being more of a 2026, 27 type of role player? Let us know that in the YouTube comments. We'll be coming to you live next week from Scotland, which will be cool. That'll be
Nessie.
Yeah, Nessie. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you should go to a castle or something and take a video.
We're going to the castle in Edinburgh, or however you pronounce it.
Edinburgh. Yeah, that's my family lives I think it was 30 minutes outside of there. It's called a city in Scotland that's 30 minutes outside of Edinburgh.
You know a cool place that we're going that has ties to Kentucky?
Where?
Aberdeen.
Oh yeah. Did you see the?
Oh yeah, I did. He didn't even do the Gator Chomp, and
No.
Trump brought him out there and asked him if he played for Florida and stuff. He's like, "No, sir, I played for Kentucky."
Oh, he really said that? I didn't see that.
Yeah, in an interview, apparently at the White House, he said Trump asked him if he played for Florida or was a good player or whatever, and he's like, "No, sir, I play for Kentucky now."
And then he proceeds to go on and say, Aberdeen, I have a house there in Scotland.
He did.
He went on to say that. I saw that video today. It's really nice, really big.
Dude, the worst part of the whole thing was when they were in the White House and Oliver Real went up to President Trump, and Trump was like, "Oh, is he a good player?" And Coach said he's working on it or something like that.
He's real tall. I have a tall son. This is not politics, by the way. That was just an impression, not politics. Nobody yell at us.
Andrew's top tier with the impressions.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good at it. Any other thoughts, Carson, before we call it a week?
Oh, that's all I got.
All right. Really appreciate y'all being here. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That helps us out a ton. And hey, have a good weekend. We'll see you next time right here on the Wildcats Today Podcast.